No black cats, just straight facts.
Triple P certified.
Listen, we can talk about odds all day. It doesn't matter what the odds are. It matters what's gonna happen.
Welcome to the Percolate Pursuit. It is I, Lukey CK, joined as always by the Euro Under King, by Danny the Batman. And it is a glorious, glorious Monday evening that we are here to break down the one, the only, Jon Bones Jones. We started this show 3 years ago. We are in year 3 of our show, and we have not gotten to bring you a breakdown of a Jon Jones fight yet. In the history of this show, for the first time, possibly the last time, we will be breaking down the return of Bones Jones. Jon Jones, the greatest of all time, fights this Saturday night against Ciryl Gane. We are going to break it down for you. But first, we will recap last week's 8-fight card that happened. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury. And then we will get into UFC, 285, 284, 283? I don't even know. I just know that Jon Jones is coming back. Alex, what say you?
You know, what say me is I'm severely upset that DraftKings, for whatever reason, didn't have the Tommy Fury versus Jake Paul fight any odds on it whatsoever. They wouldn't let you bet on it. They would have made me go to an offshore book before I could get any money on him. I didn't want to do that. I'd like to not break the law. I didn't do that, so I didn't win any money on Tommy Fury, so I'm a little pissed off.
Listen, dude, I just got to say, I was able to bet Jake Paul at minus 160 on DraftKings. I lost money betting on him on DraftKings. I was able to bet Jake Paul by knockout, Jake Paul by decision, Jake Paul money line on FanDuel. I lost money betting on Jake Paul this weekend. What can I say? I've lost money betting on Jake Paul every time he's fought, it would seem.
Could it be a state-by-state thing?
And now I bet on him the one time he's lost. So
could it be a state-by-state thing?
Alex, you just didn't know how to find it. Like, you're a noob. I don't know what
what do you mean I didn't know how to find it?
Doing half the time. Like, I don't know how you live your life. Like,
how did you get to it? You go to boxing? The first thing you would think of, right? Go to boxing?
Or combat.
Did you
no,
go to
the
either
first
one of
thing
those?
I did was I went to all sports, and then I went to boxing, and then I
did the same.
And it was there.
It wasn't there for me. I'm asking, could it be a state-by-state thing?
You know what, Alex? Our mutual friend did text me, and he said that
it wasn't in New Jersey.
He said he couldn't find it.
No, there were quite a few people. I think I saw a few angry people in the Discord as well.
Maybe in Jersey. Maybe it was a Jersey thing.
It's a Jersey thing?
But I'll tell you what, I was excited to. So I went to Vermont this weekend, a big snowboarding trip. And let me say, snowboarding in Vermont, so much. This is the second time I've done this, but really I noticed, dude, I was out of shape. I'm out of shape. I'm very much out of shape. And when you go to the Poconos, the runs are 2 minutes long. You can be out of shape. You can be fat and do a 2-minute snowboarding run. When you're out of shape and you're in Vermont and you are doing a run that's 15 minutes long sometimes, dude, I told our friend Ian, I was like, bro, I feel like I just joined a soccer team today off the couch. I feel like I just went and found the local high school 18-year-old soccer team. I was like, let me just do a practice with you guys today. And they're like, all right, start doing some laps. And I started doing laps. I started kicking the ball. And then I finished the day and I can't move my legs. I'm encased in concrete. Such a good workout, but ultimately a lot of fun. But point is, so I'm expecting to bet on UFC Vegas 70, Ryan Spann versus Nikita Krylov, expecting to bet on it in Vermont because I asked my buddy, I go, yo, is it legal to sports bet in Vermont? He's like, yeah, dude, I do it all the time. I show up, this dude's using my bookie. It's not legal to use DraftKings. It's not legal to use FanDuel. I can't even bet on the fucking UFC at all. I'm just sitting there all right. I had placed a couple bets, as you guys know, in the open bet sheet. Couldn't cash out of them. Couldn't hedge on them. If you were following my open bet sheet in the Patreon, we hit Aliev, Ode Osborne, Levitt, Peak, Malloy, all in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks in a row. We lost with Dontel Mays, but I could have hedged on fucking Augusto Sakai if I was in a state where it was legal. But by that point, my parlays were all chopped to bits because I had Spann in the parlays. I had Perez and Cowan in parlays. I had Johnson and Armfield in parlays or whatever. I had those fights in parlays. Those fights got removed the day before. Spann and Krylov gets removed minutes prior. We'll talk about that. Overall, though, I did decent on my parlays. The bets that I made, the only bets that I lost on were Mays and Muniz. So if you bet along them, I hope you had the opportunity to cash out or hedge out, because both parlays that only lost by one fight. So hopefully you were able to ensure profitability. Dan, Alex, how'd you guys do?
Yeah.
No winnings on my side. I believe I went 7 for 10, so a pretty good night as far as the straight picks go. I feel like as of late, I've really lost my way as far as end game strategy, right? Like a chess player, I'm hedging when I shouldn't hedge. I'm not hedging when I should hedge. Made it all the way to the end yet again, and Muniz blows it up for me. So you guys lost money on Jake Paul. I'll do you one better. I lost money on Andre Muniz, minus 220 favorite. No hedge. I really was thinking of the possibility of Brendan Allen having a pretty good jiu-jitsu himself and being the better striker, plus 185, a pretty solid dog. But I got greedy, looking for that extra couple $100 and just stayed pat, put my balls on the table, and they got absolutely smashed. Endgame strategy, guys. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, my endgame strategy after all of my parlays blew up, I put a small bet on Brandon Allen by knockout in the second round. I thought we were going to get it there for quite some time. And then to find out submission in the third round over Andre Muniz. I mean, guys, is jiu-jitsu worthless? Is it nothing? Because Brendan Allen made this guy who breaks Jacquier's arm in the first round, who was a world champion jiu-jitsu player, he was made foolish by Brendan Allen. And I was telling my girl before the fight, I was like, Brendan Allen has good striking, good game plan, good jiu-jitsu. Andre Muniz has better jiu-jitsu, and Brendan Allen makes bad mistakes all the time, makes a lot of bonehead decisions in there, and gets into fights with, like, he could have easily controlled Sean Strickland on the ground. He could have easily controlled Chris Curtis on the ground. I mean, if he could get in there, Chris Curtis 100% takedown defense in the UFC. That's nothing to slouch at. I'm just saying, in those fights, I mean, he kind of got drawn into a war and made a mistake, which would have been what I thought would have happened in this one. I hedged. I was a little off on the hedge, almost there, though. I can't even imagine the odds on third round submission by Brendan Allen. It would be astronomical.
So my parlays that were still alive going into the Brendan Allen fight, it was Narulo Alev, Jordan Levitt, Mike Malloy, and then Andre Muniz was the final leg. So it was a 4-fight parlay. That one also included, I think, Jose Johnson and maybe Ryan Spann. So it definitely Ryan Spann. So basically, my friend asks me, how should we bet this last fight of the night? I go, Muniz, his biggest path to victory is obviously submission. That was unbettable. It was like minus 115 for him to win by submission. So we end up taking, I think it was plus 350 or plus 500, something in that range. Muniz by decision. So going into the third round, I thought it was possible because round 1 was kind of close. I was like, maybe they give it to Muniz. Round 2, definitely Allen. Round 3, if he wins it big, if he gets his back, if he lands damage, we could end up with Muniz by decision.
You are the most absolute optimistic fight watcher I've ever heard in my life. There was no chance if that went to decision it was going to Muniz. You are crazy.
No, I was kind of thinking the same way as far as the first round being close. He had some good moments on the feet. I'll give him that. He's a lot better of a striker than I thought going into the fight. But
when he stepped into the pocket, he was cracking nicely, and he was able to do damage, but he didn't follow up. He just kind of like reset in those moments. Yeah. Very much like Jake Paul, Tommy Fury. We'll get into that fight. That was a fight where I thought Tommy Fury had won every single round watching the fight. I watched the fight. I go, okay, I think Tommy Fury won every round. But the rounds you could maybe make it close. You could give to Paul. I was like, were these rounds, right? And then there were the rounds where there were the point deductions. So a multifaceted way of judging that fight would make you kind of go, I don't really know how the judges are going to lean. And one of them ends up giving it to Paul. I think the judges that gave it to Tommy Fury got it right. We'll get into this. We'll talk about this. But bottom line, my parlay blew up with Muniz, wasn't able to hedge out, not in a state where it was legal to do it. Nor was I even in a state of mind. I mean, I had snowboarded all day.
Luke, I got a question for you in the vein of point deductions. Were you able to catch that first point deduction in the Aliev fight?
No.
Alves fish hooks him and then complains about a bite. And then Aliev gets a point deduction, still beats him 29-27.
Interesting.
Yeah, the best part is referee Mark Smith whispering over to, like, I guess the judges or whoever the commission. And he's like, it's a bite. It's a bite. you can just hear everything. It's like you're not whispering efficiently enough.
Yeah, dude. So, okay, let's see. If we take a look at the records, we all got 4 fights wrong by my count. You can let me know if I'm wrong here, Dan. You got Muniz, Mays, Fernandez, and Johnson wrong.
All right. Yeah.
And then you got Suarez, Malloy, Peak, Levitt, Selecki, and Aliev correct.
Yeah.
We trophy certified Aliev, Selecki, Levitt, Fernandez, Peak, Malloy, and sadly Mays and Muniz at the end there. 5 out of 8 trophy certified on the night. Not bad, but really some embarrassing ones there. Mays, I don't think it was as embarrassing as people in the Discord were saying, in the sense that, like, I mean, these are heavyweights. There's only so much you expect. So in terms of, and my disappointment levels can only be measured by my level of expectation, and I didn't really expect all that much anyway. It was one of those weird trophy certifications where none of us were really all that confident in Mays. You're talking about 2 guys coming off multiple losses, but it's like, what are we going to do? Pick Sakai coming off back-to-back finishes, like on the receiving end of those finishes. But so I kind of just, whatever, I write that one off. Jasmine versus Fernandez, that's a lady fight. Write that one off. But Muniz, he really did disappoint me. Like I said, he was a favorite to win by submission. He ends up getting submitted. What's going on here? You know what I mean? What's going on here, Muniz? You're Mr. Jiu-Jitsu. You're tapping. Not good to tap. Not good to accept bottom position. Not good to end up on your back and not scramble to get to your feet. He was really trying to stall him out there, keeping his guard closed, pulling his head down, just trying to survive. These jiu-jitsu guys, they go back on Monday to their schools that they're going to be teaching at until they're 80, because they're never going to make a dime in the UFC because nobody cares about watching them fight. They're going to go back to their classes that they're teaching on Monday. They're going to be like, hey, kids, you see in this fight, I actually won because I was able to keep myself safe this whole time. They're going to like bring the video up on the projector and start showing the kids and be like, look here, look how good. In my Brendan Allen fight, you'll notice I used this technique where I held him really close and I kept my guard closed. And I was able to actually, in a UFC fight, which is a highly competitive situation, guys, a highly competitive environment, the most competitive environment, I was able to stay safe. So if it can work for me at the highest level, it can work for you defending yourself, against attackers in the street. And that's what they're going to tell these people. These guys are delusional in their minds. They turn wins into losses into wins all the time. It's sad to see, because jiu-jitsu is a great art, a great martial art. It shouldn't be diluted by delusions of grandeur that like people are like, well, no, I'm actually, this is 3D chess. See, the true martial artist is the guy sometimes who doesn't get his hand raised but stays safe. No. Speak softly and carry a big stick. Not the answer here. This is the ultimate fighting championship, not the ultimate friendship championship. Him and Brendan Allen were doing a lot of hugging and kissing in there, a lot of high-fiving. He kept high-fiving Brendan Allen. He kept hugging Brendan Allen. And then he goes and taps to Brendan Allen. Guess what, Muniz? You should be cut for that. You should be cut. Cut Muniz. No more high fives.
Beautiful Discord message we had this weekend. They said, if Luke was in charge of the UFC roster, there'd be about 7 fighters.
Who said that?
I've only ever really called for about 7 to be cut. Let's be real. I've only really and there's a roster, guys. The roster is 760 fighters. So for those people out there who complain that we get names wrong, for people who complain that we say, oh, I haven't seen this guy fight, you haven't seen every single fighter fight. There's 760 something guys on the roster. They drop guys and bring them in left and right all the time. Many guys with more with a lot of consonants in their name that are from countries that we don't even know where the country is, guys. So I'm just saying we gotta do our best to pay attention to what makes it across our desk naturally, not go out here and be nerds trying to figure out everybody's name just so they can be cut 2 days later. It's like you got to have a certain it's like the stock market. You got to have a certain finger on the pulse of it. You don't want to be looking under rocks all the time. You got to kind of have a broad. You don't want to be too close to the forest to see the trees.
What's your stock portfolio look like?
Crypto.
Luke,
we got to touch on it. Joe Selecki, our PPP certified fighter of the year, went out there, got it done like he should. One of the best bets I made of the night was over 1.5 Joe Selecki, because he was minus 600. I needed to get a little juice out of there somehow. And I knew that this guy with 30 some fights was going to be a pretty tough customer, and he was tough. I mean, Joe was dominating the entire time. Probably could have scored that first round 10-8, much like the Jared Gordon fight. But it was a great fight. Joe went out there. He did his job. He got his hand raised, gave all glory to God, went out there and was pure class. Luke, did you get a chance to see that one? When did you get back?
I watched it. Yes, I did. I saw the middle to the end of the first fight, so I was there for all of it.
Nice.
Dude, yeah, great fight, wonderful finish. What more can you say? Great control, wore him out the whole time, stayed safe. That's how you do it, right? Like,
that's what you want. That's how you do
what you want out
jiu-jitsu.
of your jiu-jitsu guys, right?
Oh yeah.
How about the commentary team? Absolute trash the whole night. I could talk for hours about this, but I'll leave it to just the Joe Selecki fight. They were giving more credit to Deaton for surviving than the guy that was attacking for the whole round. The whole round, he was on the offensive, snatched up his back like a freaking flying squirrel. It was incredible. Going after the chokes. I was super impressed by Joe, our buddy Joe, but the commentary team not giving him nearly enough love and just overall garbage the whole night. I was really offended, actually.
It's the only sport where you can finish someone, a team, an opponent. So it's the only sport where you actually get discredited for pitching a shutout when you don't finish them. Because if you're watching an NFL game, a hockey game, a fucking lacrosse game, and the first period, the first quarter, the first half, whatever you're watching, they put 15 points on the board, they put 3 touchdowns on the board, they don't get touched, they don't get a point scored on them. No one's going into the locker room going, hey, but that other team, they're probably just waiting in the wing for their moment to strike.
Yeah. Like, they really hung in there. Great defense.
Paul Felder's whole MO is just doing exactly that.
No. It was Michael Bismig and Dominic Cruz.
Paul Felder wasn't even there?
Wasn't even there.
I hear Paul all the time. I just hear Paul when I'm watching fights. I had to do a lot of kind of down here and there because I was with people. We were talking. We were having a conversation. So I didn't really listen to any of the commentary all night, to be honest with you. But
you're lucky. It was so bad.
Paul Felder.
I only listened on the bigger fights. Like Joe's fight, I listened. I didn't even catch that. I was just so in my mood. But you know what was really impressive? Joe's hands looked great. His defense on the feet looked great. His takedowns were good. And the fact that his legs were not noodles after that first round of just hanging on that guy's back, switching arms, like if you've ever been on somebody's back like that and they're putting all your weight on you on the cage and you're even just fighting for somebody's neck is so tiring on the arms. Like he stayed off of his feet, locked on the entire time. And then even in the next round, he didn't look tired. And that was super impressive.
It's like Bisping. Yeah, his legs might be tired from having to do this or whatever, but how like the other guy's holding 160 pounds on his back and doing a squat, like a standing squat for 5 minutes, like that's a lot more tiring on your legs, I feel like. But a lot of great fights. That was a highlight of the night for sure. It's always cool when Joe fights. He's going to come on the show soon. He's going to come on the podcast soon.
The next fight
was today, but he said he usually just devotes all of the next week to his family when he gets on a fight. And I was like, dude, I assume that anyway. So he said any other time, get back to us. So we're going to let him come back on the show. Maybe next big. I wanted to do it only for this week because we have the biggest, UFC card in a long time here. So we'll wait till the next pay-per-view. We'll get Joe in the mix. I know I said no guests, guys, but we'll get some guests back in the mix. All right.
The next fight was my biggest miscue of the night. I had Johnson across all parlays.
Let's talk about this one.
That's what I'm trying to do, dummy.
Yeah, let's talk about it. And by that, I mean, let me talk about it because I'm the only one who got the correct pick. So you guys did have Johnson across, everything. And I told you, I said, Johnson is the correct pick. He's the one who should get our bet based on his performances, based on O'Day's performances. The pick should be Johnson. The line is accurate for him being the favorite. But that's exactly why we need to shift. That's exactly why he's going to lose. It's like a stock. O'Day is down. Johnson is high. Buy low, sell high. I knew.
And Dan, you're a huge O'Day guy, aren't you? Don't you love O'Day? Why?
No, I'm a Charles Johnson guy. I'm not a huge O'Day guy.
Okay, I swore you loved O'Day.
We just think that because they're both like education adjacent, so we think that
we are. What's his deal?
He's a teacher.
O'Day Osborne's a teacher.
Yes, in Jamaica, Queens. He's a teacher.
That's interesting.
He teaches kids math, like fourth graders, I think. I don't know. But he's a teacher, or he was, I think, before the UFC, I guess.
Do they speak Jamaican in Jamaica, Queens?
He's like modern day Rich Franklin.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get some Chet Hayes, Jamaican pigeon for us to play whenever O'Day fights from now on, because I love that he went out there and weathered that storm. Johnson's a very tough puzzle to solve. He's like Chris Curtis of that division, very scrappy everywhere, great boxer, tough to take down, like just out of nowhere pops in and like even looks good in his losses. Always fights a close fight, even in a loss, right? They both have had like 3 or 4 fights, and it's just like, ooh, you got to keep an eye on these guys. And it's tough to bet them, right? Because they come in, they win as underdogs, they lose as favorites. It's tough to like really navigate some of these newer guys who have a lot of history in other promotions. You're trying to find out where they fit in the UFC rankings. They're matching them up against guys who have made it down the rankings enough to fight these guys who are just breaking in. See what I'm saying? Like, but these guys are making their way down. They were coming from up high. These guys are coming from another organization. So it's like, oh, you can find these moments, right? And I just kind of saw that as one of those opportunities to just crack the code and get that underdog. I see a couple of those opportunities this week, and I can't wait to break them down. But let's just talk real quick about Trevor Peek, a good old boy out of Alabama, coming in there from Tennessee, representing the United States from sea to shining sea. Trevor Peek, giving all glory to God, getting down on his knees, saying, hey, this is what you should be doing on your knees, saying prayer. And his testament, his testament is profound. Love to you, Trevor Peek. I love when he said, I never had an identity. I never had a purpose. I never had a vision until I found martial arts. That's what it's about, guys. You have to have a vision, okay? You have to have a identity. And
did you see his post-fight interview, like at the press conference?
I didn't, dude. I didn't. Tell me about
he was talking about how he was addicted to drugs for a long time, and he wasn't doing any of the right stuff. And then he found God, and he was like, every time when I would be on drugs, I would always say, you know, like, once I get my life together, I'm going to start training. I think I could beat some of these UFC guys. And then he only started training in 2018. He found God, got his life together, got off of the drugs, and then has like this insane story. He's only been training 5 years, comes in the UFC, just shattered that dude. That was great. That was an explosive fight, a very fun fight. I'm surprised that you didn't bring up another explosive and fun fight before that with Jordan Levitt.
We'll definitely get to it. I'm hopping around a little bit here. We've been hopping around. Dan, so sorry, I don't. Anything else you guys want to say about the Joe Solecki fight, about the Trevor Peek fight?
I'll say one thing. Charles Johnson, O'Day Osborne. Johnson, far and away, should have won that fight if it weren't for the fact that he nutshots him. O'Day, who, even though he's a 125er, he's one of these guys that's first round finish reliant, and he's super explosive. But once the juice is gone, it's gone. So he did something strategically that was pretty smart. He gets nutshotted. Takes all 5 minutes. For the last like 3.5 minutes, he's having a conversation with Michael Bisping. They're joking around like they're on Gas Digital Network instead of being a fucking professional sports commentator. They're just having a little back and forth. So the point of the rule, the way that it's laid out, is if the referee finds that it was intentional, which is impossible because nobody has that look in the eye like, oh, I'm going to intentionally kick you in the nuts right now. But if the guy is blatantly having a conversation where his breathing isn't affected or anything like that, we can't say that it's intentional stalling. Like, it was complete bullshit. I was the same camp as you, Alex, where I had Johnson across the board. I was just freaking out the whole time. And so, of course, Osborne comes back. He's got all of his energy left to finish off the second and third round there. So complete BS commentary, complete BS reffing. But whatever. Hey, I'm not salty about it or anything.
That's crazy. That's what happens when you let Luke take the reins and his fighter won, and there was some bullshit that happened. Doesn't even get mentioned. No, doesn't bring it up whatsoever. The longest.
I gotta be honest, I didn't watch that fight. We had dinner during most of that fight, and I was doing some outdoor activities, coming in and out.
Luke, he took the full 4 minutes and 59 seconds.
I saw that. That's kind of what started me like breaking my focus of the fight. So like I saw that. I didn't hear what they were saying. I didn't hear that he was joking with Bisping. That's hilarious, Dan.
They were talking for minutes. It seemed like he was that was the hardest one I ever took.
And I think I had also paused a couple of times, so I was like hitting. I actually did this. I like went fast forward through that whole break of him and I was surprised to get all the way through and see that he used all 5 minutes. Yeah. And as an O'Day bettor, I was like, just thinking. The best thing that could happen here for my boys is just a draw or like him to not fight or a no contest. And I thought maybe that was going to happen once I saw that it was like close to the 5 minute mark. But, at the end of the day, I don't care about fighters using all that time, especially if they need it, like if it hurts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we do get mad
Oh.
at fighters all the time for rushing back.
I get more mad for rushing back.
Yeah, for sure.
Because there's a delay with that nut shit too, and it'll affect your your belly and kind of just make you a little bit stiff. And I just feel like wait and see if that happens, and then wait that out, because even that goes away in like 2 minutes. Just like take 3 minutes. You know what I mean? You don't even need all 5, but take 2, take 3. Like it's not that big a deal to take 2. You know? How many? I always compare to other sports. How much happens in baseball? How much happens in football? There's fucking TV timeouts in football. Like, how much happens in basketball? There's fucking timeouts every 2 seconds of the last 2 minutes of a basketball game.
No, I don't need more commercials in my sports watching. Okay,
I don't need it either. But I'm just saying, if the occasional fight happens where a nut shot or an eye poke happens. By the way, we need to have a 2 nut shot, 2 eye poke rule where an immediate point is taken away on the second shot. That's just what needs to happen, because you can't have situations where guys, like you said, have discretion over whether or not it was intentional or not. It's
literally impossible. Like,
it's impossible.
How would you determine that?
That's not their job, and that's not possible. So until we get
I agree.
Until we get Neuralink from Elon Musk, and everybody can be a robot, and we can see everybody's intention. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
but
it's just, are you being responsible with your weapons, as a true martial artist would say?
So there were only 10 fights. I thought there were only 8 fights, but there were 10, and we all went 6 out of 10. So our records are all exactly the same in terms of like our percentages. Nobody, well, assuming that basically
in relation to one another, they're all the same.
In relation to one another, our places. That brings me to 248 out of 392. So I'll record this data. Our Triple B Survived picks moved to 148 out of 203. We crossed our 200th pick this week. So 203 given, and we got 148 correct, 73% accurate. Let me see if that's actually still true, 73%. But Dan, so talk about the main event. What were you thinking about Krylov puking in the back? I mean, I was just kind of drunk, and I was like, this should be a forfeit. I bet Span. Fuck this,
Yeah. I didn't really have too much reaction to it other than this sucks. I mean, this card has been decimated. Was really looking forward to a full day of fights that got shortened a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I was looking forward to the fight, but once, my main event at that time, Muniz loses, then I'm like, all right, well, I would have lost during the co-main event because I had him across the board anyway. So not too salty there, but listen, I think when they run it back, I'm going to, keep with the same pick here with Ryan Spann. So hopefully that happens soon. I mean, it was just an illness, right? So theoretically, they could fight like this coming weekend. I don't know when they're going to reschedule it, but I'll take Ryan Spann all day at plus money.
Yeah, I mean, I was just explaining to my friend who watches kind of casually. I was like, listen, like these guys find every reason not to fight. And I'm just like you have to just have a blanket kind of like, as Chael Sonnen says, if it's not yes, it's not yes. It's simple as that. It's like, if you're not going to make the walk and do the fight, then it's just like blanket rule. It should just be like, okay, forfeit. And I think that where you draw the line at the weigh-in. If you make the weigh-ins, for whatever reason, you don't fight between the weigh-ins and the fight, it's a loss on your record. You know what I mean? The whole 9 yards. What do you think about that?
So if you make it to the weigh-in.
If you weigh in and then you don't fight, it's a loss on your record. And then they say, okay, what about payment? You get your pay. You get fined 30%. 30% goes to your opponent. And then I say we do another 20% fine that goes to the promotion. It goes to Dana White and company. So you only get 50% of your purse.
50% of your show.
50% of your show. Not of your 50% of your show. Because you showed up for the weigh-in, but you didn't show up for the fight. So you get half of your show. The other half goes 20% organization, 30% opponent, and then from there, you get a loss on your record, and then the fight does not get rebooked. We move on as if you lost. Simple as that.
I love you, man. You're the only person in this space that's advocating for less fighter pay. It's great.
Oh, no.
Like finding ways to make the UFC more money, take it right out of the fighter's paycheck.
The fighters need the fighters. I'm getting sick of seeing this one graphic.
It's about what's right. It's not about.
I'm getting so sick of seeing this one graphic on Instagram where they keep talking about Francis Ngannou only made $600,000 for his last fight when Ariane Celeste makes $1 million a year. And hey, guys, simple fucking math. Ariane Celeste works every other weekend, and Francis Ngannou struggles to make it to one fight every year. One fight, he made $600,000. Is Ariane Celeste getting paid $600,000 for one night of fucking? She's hoisting those cards up every other weekend, dude. What are you talking about?
Well, she doesn't make that money from being the ring girl. It's from like outside endorsements.
I think
right?
it's UFC pay.
No way. She does not make $500,000 to be the ring girl, dude.
She makes $1 million. She's been
$1 million, whatever. They definitely don't pay her $1 million.
Why should she's been with you a long time? Assume an inflation-based moderate raise every year, just as any employee would get from where she started to where she is now.
She's been
I'm
working
not saying
there for 20
should.
years.
I'm not
The
saying
woman's
should or
timeless.
shouldn't. Pay them $2 million for all I care. I'm just saying they definitely don't do that. They're definitely treated like NFL cheerleaders. They get paid like $10 an hour. That's definitely
Roger Goodell. That's because Roger Goodell, compared to Dana White, is, it's like comparing a mouse to a giant, dude. You know what I mean? Like Roger Goodell isn't half the businessman or half the man Dana White is. So,
how much has the NFL grown in the past 20 years? I know the UFC has.
People hate the NFL more and more year over year because of decisions made by Roger Goodell. At least in my anecdotal observation, in my own personal, what we're gonna do here.
Hey, how about John Jones fighting? Huh? That's gonna be big news.
Well, one more thing to talk about. So we chatted through every sining fight as they happened. I mean, besides Suarez versus Montana De La Rosa, but Mike Malloy.
Mike Malloy, amazing fight. I just wish he, kept him around a little longer, so that overplay would have worked. And then I would have been, in a great hedge spot for the Muniz fight. Other than that, Luke, the fact that you didn't bring up TT is disrespectful. Didn't you have Mountain of the Roses?
I did. She's more like Montana of the Tulips now. I mean, that was not that great of a performance. But really, it looked like, a Mack truck versus a Volkswagen, if you know what I mean, in there.
Dude, Tatiana Suarez is an absolute stud. I tried to tell you before the fight. I said, you're making a huge mistake. Sure, she hasn't fought in forever. Sure, she's older. But, dude, she was an Olympic hopeful and then got cancer. That's why she got into MMA in the first place, dude. She was so nasty at wrestling her whole life that, dude, did you see her holding herself up with a cradle on Mountain of the Roses' back? And I know you were a cradle guy, right?
I'll be honest. Yes. Go on. I zoned out. I zoned out just thinking about. I didn't know she had an HBO documentary coming out, so I should have known that.
I didn't.
If I knew that, then that would have made me pick Suarez. But So dude, you're saying
she was on her back holding a cradle, and Mountain of the Roses was standing up, and she was staying on her back with a cradle. It was sensational. She's got amazing grappling, amazing wrestling. She's an absolute issue. I don't think she's ever lost. She's never lost, right?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, she's going to go out there and she's going to take the belt in every weight class. She's an absolute stud. I love TT.
So, yeah, I mean, that was a great fight on her part. So, let's talk through is there anything else you guys want to mention from UFC Vegas 70? So,
yeah, better.
You talk about Levitt?
Oh yeah, Jordan Levitt, Alex. I knew there was one thing. Yeah, Jordan Levitt.
Another crazy outcome that you would have never expected. The Monkey King first round knockout, and then we have Brendan Allen third round submission. These things can't go any weirder at all. Yeah. That was a great knockout. We had some people in the Discord that were very rowdy, very, very rowdy this weekend. Okay, and don't shit on Jordan Levitt and not give him his credit. He knocked him out. Like, he put him up against the cage, kneed him in the face. The one dude was like, he's just sitting into these knees. He's doing nothing to defend himself. It's like, bro, he's huge. This is a huge man that just put you in a Muay Thai clinch and is just hammering knees at your head. After the first one, you're already out. You're already starting to sit, and the ref lets him get a few more in. I mean, and speaking of which, we didn't even mention this. Trevor Peake got like 17 more punches after the knockout. That was crazy. And that guy was knocked out like 3 times before that.
Yeah, that was crazy. He lifted him up off the ground. Like, yeah, that was ridiculous. What do you say? I mean, Jordan Levitt, people forget he's very big for the weight class. He's very athletic. He trains at Syndicate. I mean, he's got a good mind for the game. Check him out on the MMA Holes. He was on their show, and, he gives you a glimpse into his personality, his outlook on the sport. He's definitely, he plays into the whole kind of weirdo thing a little bit more than is actually reality, I think. So I like Jordan Levitt. Really, it was a lackluster card. No offense to anybody who fought. There was a lot of finishes. Everybody who got a finish got a bonus. That's great to see. I mean, Malloy, Brendan Allen, Trevor Peak, all these guys, Levitt, Osborne, Selecki, like not so much Osborne. I know you guys were mad about the nut shot thing, but point is, good on everybody who got a finish. We move on to one
All
of the greatest
bonuses. The nicest guy in the world, Dana White, gave every single person who got a finish a bonus.
Fantastic. So, I don't know, guys. I'm a little bit, to be honest, I'm a little bit flu gamey today. I'm a little bit tired. I didn't sleep much this weekend. I deserve, this card deserves more energy. So you guys are gonna have to compensate a little bit for me. I downed to Starbucks. Like I took it seriously. I'm not boozing. I'm not.
Well, Luke, I have great news for you. My writers, they were on strike. They are back. My writers are back. They were on strike. Yes. So we got the writers' room loud and active. They're happy now. I gave them a pay decrease. They said they were making too much money. That's why they were on strike in the first place. The decrease got them back, and we couldn't be happier.
So we're gonna do a monologue every episode, guys. We're gonna a lot of big changes are coming to the show. We got to shake things up. We got to move in the right direction. We're gonna get more guests. We're gonna. I don't even. I don't care what I'm gonna do. If I got to go up to Canada and drag Manpreet out of bed, we're going to drag Manpreet out of bed, okay? So we're going to get this show going, one way or the other. We have to – I signed a contract, guys, and if we don't get this show to 10,000 subscribers, they're gonna kill me, okay? So we need to grow the show.
Who is the contract with? Satan?
It's with the Illuminati, okay? The contract was with the Illuminati.
And when you look into it –
like this channel has to grow, okay? I'm in debt up to my eyeballs over here. We need to grow this channel, so I'm thinking about doing some challenges, some entry fee based challenges. Luke, you said
I've made mistakes.
You said you have no energy. You're on fire.
No, dude, no, I'm not. So get into your monologue. Ladies,
no monologue. Only a joke per fight. Some of them need to wait for the Patreon, and I suggest we start at the bottom of the main card.
Perfect. We can definitely do that. In the future, we're gonna go intro music right into the monologue, and then we're gonna break down the what happened last week in sort of a current event style way. Like Jay Leno. Then
I am going to be wearing suits, standing, better lighting, better production. I'm going to put every dollar I have into this because I'm so sick of having the worst MMA show of all time.
Yes, exactly. We have to make this show better. We have to improve. Knock on wood. So we can get to gold, okay, or at least nickel. We need at least to get to nickel. All right.
And it all starts with me getting into a YouTube boxing event, and all the people in the comments get me. I'll fight anybody. I'll fight any single YouTuber around.
I mean, at this point, Jake Paul's coming off a loss. At this point,
I honestly don't even know who those people are.
I want the liver.
Oh, we can set that up. We can set that up now that his stock is a little bit low, just enough for you to reach up to. You're right.
I think I want the Liver King, guys.
Ooh. In what combat? Boxing?
Any. And pick your poison.
Sword I think fighting. This has to start with us telling you can't beat the Liver King. I don't think this path works if we support it. So I'm going to go ahead and say the Liver King would squash you.
Squash you like a bug.
Come on, man. Come on. I've been eating testicles too, man. All right. I'm ready.
I think he would probably lift you up off the ground with a punch with all the testicles he's eating. He would just shovel, it'd be like a shovel. It just would, and you would fly up into there over the ring.
Man, so be it. If as long as I'm in there and I can smell him, I hear he smells terrible. I just want to get a sniff of him.
Bangkok ready.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into the first fight of the card. If that's what you have to say, if that's what you think is best, it is a very exciting one. Two people that we have deep connections to. If you take a look at Jamie Pickett, what's the common theme here? He trains with Joe Selecki, who just got a big win last Saturday night. Bo Nickal, Penn State boy. And we know about them Penn State boys on this show. We are from the Pennsylvania region, so we love and support Penn State for the most part. Obviously, not in every single way. I was never a Joe Paterno guy. I don't even like football. So Penn State wrestling, I do support. I do like, and Bo Nickal is obviously a big standout. Him and Bubba Watson carrying the torch for Penn State wrestling. Alex, I would say. Any other big Penn State guys in the
Bubba Watson, the golfer?
Shosky's dad. But
we got Roman Bravo Young, of course, who's still thriving at Penn State. One of the most
hot
wrestlers you'll ever see, dude. Somebody got him in a single leg takedown, hoisted his leg up, and he just did a backflip out and then reshot right away. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, Penn State has the greatest program probably in the whole
ever.
Yeah.
Ever, all time. No way around it. And Jason Nolf, he's also really good. He's done college though.
Anybody in the current Bellator UFC roster, PFL, LFA, anybody's Penn State right now? We gotta figure this out. If there are anybody that we're not mentioned in the comments, get it in there.
Problem is most of them just like go to the Olympics. Like they're so good, you know. They don't need to fight. They could just wrestle for a living. And why not?
Everybody always wonders like how Jordan Burroughs would have fared. I mean, that could have really been if he had started at the same time as Khabib, right? But putting him in there against Khabib would have probably gone the same way as putting a guy like Askren in there with Khabib. It's just
you're crazy.
Way too one-dimensional. You know what I mean?
You're crazy, dude. Jordan Burroughs would blast doubled Khabib through the cage. Khabib wouldn't get close to an Olympic wrestling mat in his entire life, and that's why he fights. If he was better at wrestling, he wouldn't have done this in the first place.
Yeah, I just feel like Khabib is wrestling competent enough to get back up against the cage and throwing elbows and throwing punches. Jordan Burroughs doesn't seem like the type of guy who likes to get hit. But this is not a place where we're supposed to be disparaging Penn State wrestling or wrestling in general or Olympic wrestling in general. We're supposed to be talking about how Bo Nickal is going to go out there and ragdoll Jamie Pickett and how blood is thicker than water over here. And Penn State and Pennsylvania is in our blood. We got two Pennsylvania boys in this podcast, so we have to sell on Jamie Pickett, even though he does train with our boy Joe Selleck. He's got 8 losses, and this isn't going to be the guy to give Bo Nickal his first loss. But the line is the most disrespectful line I personally have ever seen in the history of the sport. There is no line more disrespectful than this. The line should be more like, I don't know, I'd say where the Shavkat Rakhmonov Jeff Neal line is at. Couldn't be a more perfect comparison. You have a guy in Shavkat who's 16-0, a guy in Jeff Neal who's 15-4. Both guys a weight class removed from this fight, but seemingly, the same kind of agenda. You got a guy who can grapple versus a guy who doesn't have any interest in grappling in Jeff Neal. You got a guy in Pickett who's not going to ever be able to grapple with Bo Nickal, and a guy in Bo Nickal who, if he so chooses, could take him down and submit him, right? So the line is out of control. Alex, how do you see this one?
Bo Nickal first round finish. Nickal versus Pickett. I was confused at first. I really thought Antifa was just finally paying their protesters. I don't want no damn Nickal to punch a Nazi. I'll do it for free. I'm going with Bo Nickal first round finish, and I hate to say that. I love Joe Selecki, but I've been burnt too many times on Jamie Pickett, and I love Bo Nickal. I love wrestling. Bo Nickal gets it done, and maybe even by knockout, maybe even put a little salt-based sprinkled knockout on there.
You mentioned Antifa. Don't worry, they've been paid by good old Uncle George.
When you look into it,
George Soros.
they'll all hand you checks. Bing, 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 bing.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
As far as my pick, minus 15.
Don't kill me.
What?
I was saying to George Soros not to kill me.
Oh. Well, you're in debt to Bill. And
I'm fighting for my life.
I'm in big. Those who know that I'm in big time debt to Bill Gates. So
he found out about the mask.
The interest is compounded.
Money add them multiply.
So he found out about that mask you wear?
No, Bill. That was Bill. That was not me in a mask. That was Bill. But anyway, listen, guys. If you know, go back and watch the episodes. Comment where to find it. If you find it, ow, fuck, dude, ow, fuck, my leg fell asleep.
Oh, I thought
I didn't fall asleep. I pushed against the nerve. Ow, Sean O'Malley'd myself trying to fucking. Damn. All right. This is not the episode John Jones deserves. John, I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry, John. Dude.
No, this is the content that the people want, baby. They want to see.
It is. I don't think it is, though. I don't think it is. All right, let's just move on.
It's crazy. I was just listening to Mark Norman, and Dan, you really do sound a lot like him. That no was just perfect, spot on. Were you doing an impression there, or is that just you?
No, that's just me. That's just me. Comedy.
All jokes, comedy.
Comedy. Something that's not funny is the beatdown that Bo Nickal is going to lay down on Jamie Pickett there. If we're going to label this card, it's the don't overthink it card, all right? And this is right at the top of the list. I understand he's very new to, combat sports, outside of the old collegiate wrestling arena. But listen, Jamie Pickett's not going to stop any of the takedowns. I see a back take. I see a rear naked choke in the future coming this Saturday night at approximately 10 o'clock. So don't overthink it. But, maybe don't play it. I don't know. Minus 1,500. It is a little absurd as far as, adding $2 to your parlay there. But don't play the dog either. Don't play the dog at all. It's not.
What do you think about first round
pass? What
do you think about first round finish, Daniel?
I've been trying to avoid like round props and all that. It's so risky, but I think in this one, that's probably the way to go. Sure. First round finish.
Get a little cash.
First round subby
for free. First round sub, maybe even knockout, dude. I think knockout
is a little more suspect. I don't know.
He's knocked somebody out before, dude. And I think Jamie Pickett's going to be so worried about the takedown that Bo Nickal could just surprise us all and just knock his ass out.
I don't know. I think Pickett is durable with the strikes, less durable with he's been subbed a couple times.
Huge eye roll from Luke when you said durable.
I just can't believe that, like, I just want to know, like, why this fight, like, why don't they just make every fight one guy's minus 2,000 and one guy's, you know what I mean? Like, why not just do every one of them like this? Who cares? Like,
Bellator prelims.
It's not even fun. Like, it's not even fun. It's like boxing shit. Like, this is not cool. And it's not even warranted. Like, it's not like there is that much of a disparity. Like, Bo Nickal, even if he's the best fighter ever, like, Khabib was never this inflated on anybody. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense. He has had 3 fights. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make fucking sense.
So play the dog. Play the dog. It's like plus 850.
No, because he's not going to win. I'm just saying I want to be able to bet on the guy who's going to win at a fucking value that's fair. It's not fair market price.
It isn't fair. And, life's not fair, Luke. And you have to realize that one day.
It seems like the ones who you're like, ooh, I'm going to catch this guy no one knows about yet are more inflated than the ones who are like mainstream ones. You know what I mean? And we'll get into some of these ones that I'm going to talk about in a couple seconds here.
I don't know. We had the heroic pick with Aliyev last week, and we said we'd feel dumb if we didn't take him in this fight, even though Alves is a tough motherfucker.
Yeah, well, if you know anything about the Eagle, you know that if you saw him in the Contender Series, he has a whole country supporting him. This is whenever there's that situation, you got to go big on them, right? Or whenever there's like a specific sort of niche that they meet, like in the Bo Nickal situation, you got to go big. And the problem is the sharps know about it now, and they get the line before us. And this is just it's a proletariat bourgeoisie type of thing. We need to make sure that we fight for our rights over here. They're trying to take away more rights of the common people. You think that these big time sharp bettors think they're friends with fighters? No, of course not. They're nerds. So they're the ones who are going to get to bet. While people who train MMA, they're trying to take away your right to bet on fights. They're saying if you train at the gym, I haven't been able to train at the MMA gym in months since this news. It's more important I can bet. So I got to keep my ass on the couch.
Can Gianni the Greek still bet as a paid UFC employee?
Dude, I don't know how half this stuff works anymore.
It's crazy.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, if people who fight in an organization can't bet on football. Like, remember Chris Weidman tweeted or whatever? He was like, I couldn't make a DraftKings account because I invite the UFC. I couldn't bet on football.
And he's trying to just bet on them damn Bills. That's all he's trying to do.
Listen, we're just joking around here. Let's just get into the next fight. So it's obvious Rochelle will be certifying Bo Nickal. No reason to take as much time as we did on it. How does it get it done? Is it going to be a first-round submission? The only thing I worry about is sometimes these new guys, right, they get into these weird headspaces where they're like, let's log some minutes. Let's take the first round and be cautious and not go right into the.
Those are only Dagestanis. Those are only the Dagestans. Until they get to a title, that's the only time they want to start finishing people.
Yeah, I think that if Jamie Pickett's there to be steamrolled in the first round, Bo Nickal is happy to oblige and doesn't want to take any risks and isn't going to do that. You're right. So Bo Nickal first round is the only way you bet this one. If you can find on FanDuel 1 and 2, I think you'd be happy with that too. But what are the odds going to be? Minus 800 on that? Like, it's not worth it, really. These are the ones you just sit back and enjoy, right? I mean, it's a free space on the board. Just don't worry about it.
First round knockout, Bo Nickal calling it.
All right, next we got Mr. Mateusz Gamrot, who I was happy to pick against Arman Sarukian on an island by myself. He sneaked out a split decision there. Jalen Turner, I was so ready to unload the clip on him against Dan Hooker. I really, really, really thought he was going to smoke Hooker, but Hooker ends up breaking his hand. He probably broke it against the fucking concrete wall when he realized he had to fight the tarantula. I know that he was doing interviews saying he was excited about it. We all know Dan Hooker, not the brightest bulb in the shed. He's probably was excited to fight Jalen Turner, but I can tell you one thing confidently: Jalen Turner was going to fucking kick his head into the stands. It was not a good matchup for Dan. You have a faster, stronger, longer, more athletic, more explosive guy who's coming off a ton of momentum. He was ready to kill Dan Hooker in there. I guarantee you that. Sadly, he ends up in there with Gamrot. I think this is kind of like one of those situations where, man, that was going to be the moment. He would have gotten so much out of that Dan Hooker fight. He would have won. He would have beaten the most famous guy he had pretty much ever fought. Done it on the biggest card he'd ever fought on. But now he's in a position where he could end up losing a decision to Mateusz Gamrot, getting his back taken, getting taken down, getting smothered. I'm really, really disappointed in this matchup. I like both guys. I don't want to have to pick a winner here. I'm going to be disappointed no matter what happens, but I'm going to take Mateusz Gamrot. I think it's an easy pick. I think that Jalen Turner really stepped in dog shit in this one, and not in a good way.
Yeah, the Polish Gamrot versus the American Jalen Turner.
I don't think you should be making this into jokes. I'm going to cut that one out.
All right, cut that one out. Cut that one out. Just cut
nothing about mental illness, nothing about sexuality, nothing about race. Okay, those are the rules.
Ooh.
I'll leave that in so they can wonder which of those you broke. And nothing about I just start adding worse stuff he didn't mention anything about. I'm like, nothing about the Armenian genocide. Nothing about right, we gotta cut all this out. So
all right. Well, I scribbled all the rest of the jokes out. All the jokes there's no more jokes.
It's possible I have a concussion. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's quite possible I have a concussion. I landed on my butt, like boom, like landed on it, and they say that could do it. So it's quite possible.
I can do it, a little whiplash. I'm going to, like Luke said, I was going to unload. This was going to be my bank robbery. I was going to take Luke on as the accomplice. It was all Jalen Turner against Dan Hooker the entire time. But, Luke, you're talking all this junk on Dan Hooker, but he's the only one fighting for our right to party, talking about how Islam's using IVs when for the last, 10 years, you haven't been allowed to use an IV. And then all of a sudden the UFC's like, no, you're actually allowed to use IVs now. Okay, all right. Let's just put this one to bed. Put it to rest already because – oh man, that was tough. Don't even bring it up.
Well, can I bring up one thing though? Here's the thing about Jalen Turner. This is why the Dan Hooker fight was so good for him. He's got a head kick knockout over Josh Kulibau. He's got a victory finish against Jamie Malarkey. He's got a submission finish against Brad Riddell. Every time they've put him against one of these tough Australian guys, he has stepped up to the plate and finished their ass. So he was about to kick Dan Hooker's head, who is honestly the least formidable, compared to Malarkey and Riddell. I think, right? Would you agree? I don't know. It's kind of tough. They're all it depends on the night, but I'm just saying,
it's crazy you say that because Keenan Song has fought every single person from Australia ever. He fought freaking Israel Adesanya, Brad Riddell,
and we'll get into him in the prelims. So I wouldn't give too much away about Keenan Song because he fights the bane of my existence, which is.
I can't wait till that. Guys, sign up for the Patreon if for the only reason you want to hear Luke talk about his arch rival, Instagram documented Ian Gary.
I have a monologue for that fight alone, just because we have so much ammo against Ian Gary right now. But I'm the biggest Ian Gary fan of all time. So,
well, we will get into that on the Patreon. I promise not to talk about it on the YouTube anymore. You got to get behind the paywall. You got to get into the Patreon. So we will talk all about that. But for now, talk about Jalen Turner.
Gamrot.
Like I said,
Gamrot.
You're taking Gamrot. Dan, how about you?
No triple P certification. I, unlike these two gentlemen over here, am a man of my word. I am about to unload the clip on Jalen Turner in a good way. As in, I'm going to be putting a lot of money.
Whoa. Cut that out. Cut that out. Cut that part out.
That'll be cut as well.
He's a drill rap, Dan. Come on. No drill rap.
No, but seriously, I think he's still the pick here. I think he is way more just like sheer violent over Gamrot. Gamrot's a wrestler. He's going to try to keep you down. Jalen Turner has 77% takedown defense. I have the utmost confidence that even if he does get taken down, he'll be up fairly quickly, where he's going to have a 6-inch reach advantage and just piecing him up, to be honest. He's the younger fighter from San Bernardino, California. Little fact for you, Alex. First ever McDonald's, San Bernardino, California, all right? Still standing, and it's a museum if you want to go. Pretty cool stuff.
All right, just don't unload your clip on me. Just hands up, shoot.
Yeah, I really am liking what Dan was saying there. The reach, and also if you look, he's 5 years younger.
In this prime.
32, but you just got to think, young, fast, Jalen Turner with a reach advantage. Ruka trained out there with Jason Perillo on such a streak. Been in there with guys who are so sticky, so persistent, like Quake, like Malarkey. This is I'm getting interested here, because it's not like he didn't get taken down by Beneil Dariush, right? And I was willing to admit, okay, old ass gray haired Beneil Dariush is better than I thought. I always want to fade these guys, but maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe Beneil Dariush is going to go in there and win the title. And then, Islam Makhachev gets into a competitive match with Volkanovski. It kind of makes me even look at Beneil and like he's not so crazy, right? So I'm like, all right, whatever. Point is, I might be doing a switcheroo.
Yeah. Dude, I'm telling you, he lands almost twice as many strikes per minute. Okay.
Keep it going.
It's on a card that has almost all minus 1,500 favorites. This is probably the best dog shot you're going to get if we're on chalk just value. Plus 185, you're getting one of the best young fighters in the best division in the whole sport. I think it's adding up for me, Jalen Turner.
It's funny you say that, Luke. Everything Dan said was really dumb, but then when you talked about it, I started to realize maybe Jalen Turner is the pick.
So should we just?
It's funny because I actually had Jalen Turner when we first started, and then Luke was talking about the gamer, and I was like, yeah, this is an out of the frying pan and into the fire type fight. You have a way harder opponent in the gamer than you did with freaking what's his name? Brad Riddell?
Dan Hooker. Completely different style of fight. You got a guy who can wrestle, who's a big time power striker, versus Dan Hooker, who's kind of gonna battle you at range, hit you with knees, not ever want to look to strike or to take you down, at all.
Yeah, so it is a complete opposite matchup. This is just a short notice.
But is it an easier matchup? Because if he cannot get taken down by Gamrot 3 times and held, he would have to get taken down and held down 3 times for him to lose this, because he's going to be on the outside just bopping him, dude. I think with Perillo in his corner, he's going to be fast, he's going to be long, he's going to be just piecing him up. And like Dan said, of all the lines, this is kind of one where it's like, it's just like Allen versus Muniz, kind of. It's like, wait a minute, are people forgetting who these fighters are here? You know what I mean? If you switch, I'll switch, but I'm not gonna do it unless we Triple P certify.
Triple P certified Jalen Turner.
Triple P certify the tarantula, dude, because we've been wanting to do this for a while, and this is one of those ones where we got to hold our nose, swallow deep, and just go for it, because it isn't going to be easy now. It's not going to be easy. It was going to be him as a slight favorite against Riddell probably. Now we're getting him as a slight underdog, and it's like at the end of the day, one of these guys was prepared. One of these guys was ready to go here, and the other guy is coming in on shorter notice. So
I just incepted you and made you call Dan Hooker Brad Riddell when I was just doing it as a joke.
I said Brad Riddell. No, shut the fuck up. You said Brad Riddell on purpose. All right, so
I did. You are correct.
This is a real moment. This does not happen often at all. We are all usually pretty strong in our resolve, but when it comes down to an underdog play, and one of us is heavy on it, like Dan is, it's even though he's not even here right now. I mean, it's kind of annoying, but here he is. Let's do it. Let's just.
I can hear him still scurrying around in there. He didn't.
I'm here. I'm here.
Look at his hair. What did you just do?
He's eating.
I'm not eating. I ate.
Are you watching Survivor?
I fucking wish, better than being on this shitty podcast.
Yeah, go watch Survivor then. Get out of here. You know. All right, let's.
Dan will just make a hour addendum picks. Get into his picks in an hour, really fast.
We'll do more Survivor talk on the Patreon. If you like the show Survivor, we'll talk about it on the Patreon. Dan, did you see Russell Hantz in the season yet?
No, I saw his nephew.
Oh, that sucks. You should not have been introduced to Brandon Hantz before you had been introduced to Russell Hantz. Now you're going to have a complete wrong impression about Russell from the start. This is bad.
Russell's on this season.
I have an open mind.
I sent you a specific order. I said, watch this season, and then
Hulu only has from season 23 up.
Just buy them. Well, you make money.
Am I going to go to the library, get them on DVD?
Just whatever, by any means necessary, you just get what you want in this life. Just go for it. Like, who cares? Don't let paywall stop you. Don't let subscription stop you. Just go get it. Say, I thought
you guys were talking about a new season of Survivor that Russell came back on. I was like, what? They got him back. They got the bull out of the shit.
No,
the
sadly,
shed.
no, dude, no.
The bull out the barn.
They did bring Boston Rob back on a recent season, but Dan probably doesn't even know who that is at this point either. So.
I do know who that is. I haven't seen him yet, but I did my research.
Did you watch season 1?
No.
Oh my gosh. Dude. All right, never mind. Well, call me when you've seen watch the list of the seasons I sent you, because I'm helping you get straight to the heart of Survivor here.
Listen, I'm just going to watch all of them. I'm going to watch as many as I can. All right? So
okay.
all will be watched. It doesn't matter.
I'm just nervous now because Brandon Hantz, Brandon Hantz completely was like a chicken with his head cut off running around out there.
He was great.
He didn't know his ass from his elbow in any way, shape, or form. Compared to his uncle, it's like comparing Picasso to a 2-year-old.
Well, on the reunion show, he literally like dissed his own nephew. He's like, "You played it all wrong. He's an idiot."
I know. I remember that. He was like, "You did it all." Yeah, exactly.
The trick is you get to the finals every time and then lose because the women that you bring there are nicer than you. That's the Russell brand. That's the Russell.
No, Russell lost.
Listen, no spoiler. No spoiler.
He only lost in one. Alex, don't tell him. Stop. Come on, don't ruin this. Oh, fuck. I'm trying to keep Dan pure, and he's just out here fighting every way to. Anyway, we got to get into the next one, dude. We got Shevchenko Rakhmonov.
They didn't talk about his uncle's accomplishments while Brandon was on the show.
No,
like I can't imagine that they didn't talk about.
I can't imagine they didn't either, but it's fine.
Like what?
No. They didn't talk about the accomplishments. They just said that he was like a bit of a lizard, a good player as far as like outcomes, but they painted him out to be a scumbag. I don't know. A liar, a master manipulator.
Let me just tell you one funny thing Russell does, which is why I wanted you to watch it. This is like the first episode of the first season he's in, right? They land on the shore and it's nighttime, and he just decides that he's gonna burn everybody's shoes because he wants to just make everybody more miserable. He's like, if I can get everybody miserable, then I'll control them more easily. So I gotta just make them as miserable as possible. So he's just laughing and burning socks. He's like, hey, it's like
the best part of Russell is that he's like a oil baron, and he's like, oh, I didn't even want to win anyway. I don't care.
He was already no, he did want to win, but he was already a millionaire. He didn't need the money.
Yeah, he was like, I don't even care.
He's a self-made millionaire. But the thing is, they're all like finding their socks burn up. Like, somebody burn our socks. It's the funniest shit.
Did he burn his own socks and shoes too?
Oh yeah, he didn't care at all. He was like, I love this. I don't care. He's like, this is easy for me. He's like, this is like being on vacation. All right, we got to move on though, guys. We're chewing into the fucking clock here. We got Jeff Neal versus Shevchenko Rakhmonov. We're coming off a triple P certification of Jalen Turner. Dan switched Alex and I's opinion entirely. This is your dog shot. Dan said plus 180. I'm seeing plus 145 here. Go to Best Fight Odds to see what the line is, but 5 years younger, 5 inches longer, 5 inches taller, faster. We got Jason Perlow in the corner. If he can avoid the takedown, he's going to dot his eye, box him up. Objects in motion, stay in motion. We got a guy winning versus a guy losing. Let's take the guy winning. Jalen Turner, Triple B certified, the Tarantula. Next, we got Jeff Neal versus Shevchenko Rakhmonov. I highly doubt we're going to take a dog here. I'm high on Shavkat. 8 finishes by knockout, 8 finishes by submission, 16-0, 28 years old. I love this fighter. The only thing I'm not going to get sucked into is a by finish prop at all, because I did that with Khamzat versus Burns. And I'm not saying Neal is this fighter like Burns is, but I'm saying he's going to show up. This is the second shot he's had to prepare for the guy. He pulled out the first time. I think that was bitch shit, pulling out and then talking shit. Like he said he was going to go in there and finish him, and then he pulls out. Like, you don't pull out. Like I said about fucking Krylov, these guys are somehow, some way, by hook or by crook, not making it to the night that we build for them. When we put their face on the poster, we make them the main event. We pay them an inordinate amount of money. And like I say time and time again, you're walking down the streets of New York and some guy pinches your girlfriend's butt and grabs her purse. Are you going to fight even if you have the flu? Are you going to fight even? And I'm sure he wanted to. Everybody says, oh, he tried to. But there's a difference between, I don't know what was going on back there. I'm just saying, you're backstage puking like, I mean, I don't know what to do with these guys sometimes.
Well, first of all, don't puke.
There's that, right? Like, there's just control your body, do Wim Hof method, don't puke. Oh, it was because of the weight cut. Don't cut so much weight to give you an unfair advantage against a smaller man because you're sucking weight out of your body. Instead, just do what you need to do to show up and fight no matter what. Like, there are guys who don't pull out and there are guys who do. You're one or you're the other. It's just like, it's crazy. So how does some guys make it their whole career with 50 fights and never pull out of a single one? And some guys, like, can't seem to put together enough chutzpah to get in there for a main event when your face is on the poster. Like, thank God there wasn't a sold-out arena. I think we need to get back to these sold-out arenas because maybe that'll demonstrate a little bit more importance when there's tickets that are being sold and people are in their seats waiting for the show to happen and they want a refund if it doesn't happen. Maybe that's what
and then Dana goes into the locker room with a cigar in his mouth. And he's like, "Hey, kid, you gonna lace him up tonight or what?"
And if he's not, then he should. Or we need to get some new bald guy in there to yell at these guys because I'm just sick of people not showing up to do it when your face is on the poster. If you're,
I agree completely.
Okay, let's move on. Shavkat Rakhmonov, he wins. I'm not going to get sucked into a by finish play, but I could see him just pop, dropping him, and then getting the choke and squeezing and Neal tapping and going, man. And then, so I could see Shavkat getting the finish. I'm not betting it by finish. I'm not touching this one in any way like that. I'm not going to even really bet this one. It's too wide, but I think it'll be a fun fight to watch. I will enjoy it. I think you got 2 finishers, so no reason why you should. I might even take Shavkat by decision because when you get 2 finishers like this, and you get all this steam on one guy, you end up with a fucking decision, right? If I would bet Shavkat to win by KO or by finish, he won't. I guarantee it'll be the first fight in his entire career that goes to a decision. So why not just bet by decision? So I'm going to check that line. He's never been to a decision. So I think if you're getting plus 500, plus 800, some shit like that, take a look at it,
Yeah, for sure. Anything to turn a giant favor into a dog or
I'm going to check what it is. I don't think there's no odds on it yet, but
yeah, but it's interesting because Shavkat versus Neal, Luke, you mentioned it. Neal had to withdraw, and before they got assigned to this one, Jones was the only fighter in withdrawal for his camp. Thank you. I'll be here all night.
And I think when I come back as a heavyweight, I'll try to do more legally controversial shit.
Yes, I'm going with Shavkat Rakhmonov. I'm not going to go long-winded. Luke always says, I'm not going to get too deep on this one, and then talks about 17 different things and goes on for 10 minutes. So I'm taking Shavkat. Here you go, Dan.
I'm going to take Shavkat as well. I think the line is completely justified as far as being a minus 500. What I'm not going to do is try to anticipate the outcome, especially a finish, being that Jeff Neal has yet to be finished in his career. Clearly a very durable guy. So I'm just going to take what I can get here with the money line, make it a parlay pillar, and boost my profits by a little bit. But easy play here, perfect situation for us.
Well, Alex, since I went long-winded there, I'll give you first take on Mr. John Jones, the return of the GOAT.
Well, first we got a lady fight.
We got a lady fight. Dan, take us through this one. You're the ladies' man of the show.
Hey, that's right. We got Valentina Shevchenko versus Alexa Grasso. Now, I'll be honest. I was toying with that plus 450. I really was. Have I gotten there? maybe by Friday. Check out the Patreon. It'll definitely be a little bit sprinkled within some of my parlays. As for the official pick, as I said before, this whole fight card is labeled the don't overthink it fight card, and that's exactly what I'm going to do here. I think Shevchenko is due for a loss coming soon. I don't think this is the fight. Maybe one or two more fights afterwards, but I think Shevchenko's got enough in the tank. Get this one done. Minus 600, definitely a squirrely number, but listen, the pick's a pick. It's not what the line is. It's what's going to happen. Shevchenko for the W.
Interesting.
Dan, you are right. You are exactly right. Shevchenko is not going. She's due for a loss soon, but it will come by the hand of Tatiana Suarez, and everybody knows that. For this fight, Dan said, "Don't overthink it. It's the bullet versus Grasso." I think it's Shevchenko by headshot, and this time the bullet is going to be going right into a Grasso knoll instead of coming from it.
Gosh. That was good.
That is good. Creative.
When you look into it,
What the fuck am I doing? I'm quitting. I quit. Oh, fuck. All right.
What?
I'm quitting. That was bad.
It wasn't bad. That was good.
My writers, I think that they tricked me by getting off of strike. I think they're trying to get me canceled, get me accused of not being funny again. I don't know what to do anymore. I got to just put all the money into production value instead of writers. Production value, have my girlfriend write all the jokes. They'll be a little cleaner. I don't know what to do.
Maybe some sick neon. Like I would move the camera, put your back against the wall like mine is. Like get a wall, more acoustics, some acoustic stuff. Like
I don't know what to do, man.
some
I don't know what I'm
autograph
doing.
posters, maybe a PSA grade 10 Michael Jordan autograph card, something like that. The kids like the action figures. I hear action figures could be good.
I do have I do have cool sneakers. Should I sit like with my feet up like
Funko
this?
Pops. Think Funko Pops. Think Star Wars. Think all sorts of action figures.
Oh my gosh, Sam Hyde made the best video making fun of Mr. Beast, and it was like, I just deep fried my $25,000 Funko Pop collection. I didn't even watch the video, but I could tell that's exactly what was happening. All I needed to see was the picture of him going like with like a deep fried Funko Pop, and it cracked me up.
Well, we're doing a show right now, so Alexa Grasso, it's like. I think it's like what Dan said. You just fade Valentina every time from here on out. She's getting to that ripe old age where, like Alex always says this. He says, "Men age like wine, women age like milk."
I've never said that. I've actually never said that. Strike that from the record.
We got a 5-year age gap, and a minus 625 favorite is way too huge for me in a competitive sport like this one. You got a girl who's going to come in more motivated than ever, fighting the best person she's ever fought, but with 5 rounds to make her case in history. She stands 5'5", that's even. She's got a 66-inch reach, that's even. You're telling me that Valentina is that good that she's going to go in there and get this young up-and-comer out of there that quick? She's from Guadalajara, bro. She's going to hit her with that Guadalajara hard scarf, dude.
Is this your Theo Vaughn impression?
No, it's not my Theo Vaughn impression. All right, so let's look at her loss. Carla Esparza, champion. Then you got another champion in Tatiana Suarez, a future one, right? Based on what we've seen recently. And then Felice Herrig, but the Felice Herrig one is 2017. Look up when USADA came into the UFC. I don't know that Felice was doing pretty well and then all of a sudden it dropped off like a stone. And I want to know
chin
what
too. On the Chin Hall of Fame, all my Mount Rushmore chins.
Great chin on her, but she's got some great wins. So I really have a lot of respect for her losses. I don't really mind them. It's like decision. Okay, yeah, you got finished by Tatiana Suarez back in 2018. No worries. We've improved in the last 5 years, I hope, right? You lost a majority decision to Carla Esparza back in 2019. Again, 4 years ago. Let's move on. A win against up-and-comer Macy Barber. She beat JoJo Calder-Wood, finished her first round. What you do to a fighter's like in that stage of her career, older like that. Vivia Rougeau goes in there, beats her in a decision. And Ji Young Kim gets a win there. So beats Kowalkiewicz, beats Randa Marcos, gets wins over no one else really. It's not like a dog that I really think is going to go in there and beat the GOAT Valentina, but I don't really think Valentina is the GOAT. I think this is an illusion, guys. This whole GOAT thing, this whole perfect thing, it's an illusion, and we got to move on. We got to kill our darlings. She's 35 years old, fighting a 29-year-old. Give me Alexa Grasso. I'm picking Alexa Grasso. But I picked Montana De La Rosa last week, so I'm insane. I'm an insane person. I do insane things. I make insane moves. And I have a parlay called the 7-11 parlay that's going to win big this week. And you want to know who these two fighters are going to be. One of them is in the next fight I'm about to break down, and one's on the prelims. To get the prelims picks, you got to go to patreon.com/pro.
Spoiler alert: the guy on the next one's Cyril Gane.
All right, Alex is wrong about that. So let's move on. Dan, you're taking Shevchenko. I'm taking Grasso. Alex, who are you taking?
Shevchenko.
Will this be the second GOAT that I've slain? I picked Pena to defeat Nunes. I missed out on home defeating Rousey. I really thought Rousey was going to win that fight back in the day. I remember where I was when I watched that fight. And I had no money on it, right? But I was still super invested in it. Now that I think back on it, I really cared that Ronda lost. I was really sad. And I was like, I can't believe that. I was like, what? I can't believe that happened.
I can't imagine watching a fight I didn't bet on anymore. At
I
this
used to
point,
care more then. Now that I
yeah,
think about it, I care a lot more then. And I'm like, why? And I think back, why did I care? Why did I care? Why did I care so much? It was a good fight. Why did I care?
You could get a new Silver Star shirt.
But I think the next fight we're about to break down. Alex, take us away with Valentina versus Grasso.
I already did. What
You
do you
picked
mean?
Valentina?
Yeah.
All right, so that takes us to the main event. John Jones versus Cyril Gane. To me, this one's Alex. Go ahead.
All right. Well, just be prepared that you might have to cut this one out. Jones versus Gane. Is only a minus 160 favorite. Now that's a line even I can't resist, John.
That's pretty good.
I kind of butchered that one. I thought you'd cut out the baguette remark.
Well, if you didn't draw so much attention to it, I mean,
why? It's a French pastry.
I understand. Yeah, he's flaky. He flakes.
He flakes.
He says he doesn't even train between
fights. He doesn't even train, Luke. He plays FIFA. He's worried about FIFA. He's worried about.
He's gonna get eaten up. He's gonna get eaten up.
He's gonna get eaten up. And
by a tourist in John Jones. Dan, what do you have to say?
Jesus Christ.
Wait,
I'm
what?
just looking at Alex.
I didn't even make a joke. What's the?
I swore you were. This might not have even been France, but I guess Canada.
No. I don't even want to hear it. Let's just tell me on the Patreon. Tell me on the Patreon.
The guy who ate that guy in Canada. I thought it was France at first because they all speak French. They got a certain je ne sais quoi,
Get him out of here, Luke. Get him out of here.
Good.
All right. I'm going to talk about John Jones. Greatest fighter of all time. I stand by that. Don't give me GSP, Luke's favorite fighter, or Khabib, Alex's favorite fighter.
You're crazy.
Give me John Jones as the greatest of all time. And I think that era that we're in, the Bones Jones era, continues into the heavyweight division. This is the first of maybe 3 or 4 heavyweight title defenses. I think he's got this thing. He looks to be in tremendous shape. Obviously, the wrestling is there. I think it's still there. I think it's going to be rejuvenated in the heavyweight division. John hasn't gone to the wrestling in a while. I think he might up at heavyweight. And if not, he'll take that legendary wingspan and put it to use in strategic ways in the striking as well. So I'm not worried about Gane's perceived athletic ability at heavyweight. Jones all the way.
This is a fight that you look at and you see a guy coming off a long layoff, but we just saw Tatiana Suarez come back from a pretty long layoff herself and didn't really miss a beat, right? So, John's been working with Henry Cejudo here and there. John's been hitting pads. John's been bulking up. It's really hard to bulk up while also developing your gas tank, right? So he's been sparring with Walt Harris. He's been sparring with the guy Maurice Green. He's been sparring with some lackluster opponents, but that's how you get ready for a fight. You don't spar with guys like it's the McGregor method, right? You're sparring with the Artem Lobovs. You're sparring with guys several degrees below you, so you can work on what you're working on and visualize the strikes landing. John Jones already knows how to fight. John Jones already knows how to make the walk. John Jones has an inherent switch that comes on. That's why he was able to win the title at 21 while doing cocaine and partying in nightclubs and doing all sorts of different things, allegedly. But point is, like, the story of John Jones has been well written, that he is a gamer. He shows up when the fight is on. This is, it's a weird situation because it's a fight where he's basically preparing more than ever, it would seem. Like, he's actually focused and dedicated to this fight. So maybe we actually get a worse version of him, that he's taking it more seriously and not out at nightclubs and things like that. I don't know. I don't know how seriously he is taking it. I don't know how he could be that big while also taking it seriously. I don't know how you can gain weight like that and train more and train harder. But at the end of the day, I'm sure he's doing the right things to prepare for the task at hand. The bottom line is this. When John Jones lost his mother, he went in there and he pounded DC so hard that DC cried on air right afterwards, right? You could see the hatred. You could not in DC, but in the world at large, for the pain that it caused him when it took away his mother. You could see it coming out as he hammered DC's temple, as he pounded him into the cage. And when John Jones comes back this time, after he's, not with his family, we know that much, right? He tweeted out that, if you're a John Jones hater, take fucking joy in today because I'm alone. He said because his wife left him, the incidents that we all know about, the arrest in Las Vegas, right? John Jones is not high up here like he used to be. He's pretty low right now, right? Admittedly so. So what John Jones do you think we're going to see in that cage? The one place where he can truly be himself, the one place where he can truly just fucking Dexter somebody. And Cyril Gane's going to be on the receiving end of that. John is going to take a murderous joy in destroying Cyril Gane. He is going to finish him. He is going to bloody him. He is going to bludgeon him. Cyril Gane will be finished inside the distance. Whether or not he gives up his neck or his limb and gets finished by submission, or John just pounds him. I think the safer bet's TKO. If you put a gun to my head, John Jones getting him down, mounting him, and smashing him into a pulp, making soup out of the Frenchie. He's going to make creme brulee. Is that a soup? No, that's a dessert. He's going to make seafood bisque. What's a French soup? Potatoes au gratin. He's going to make French onion soup. He's going to make French onion soup out of Cyril Gane's head on the ground with elbows. If the ref pulls him off mercifully, then Cyril Gane will be able to shake his hand afterwards. Otherwise, Cyril Gane's leaving in a stretcher. John Jones all the way. I finally get to do that on the show. I get to pick John Jones. Will it be a trophy certified pick? Yes, it will be. Alex already kind of mentioned that. So yeah,
yes, it will be, because as I said, minus 160 for John Jones is a line even I can't resist.
John Jones for the first time is trophy certified. We will now get into the prelims, guys. Join the Patreons. There's a ton of interesting fights. We got Trevin 5-star Jones taking on Cody Garbrandt. We have Ian Gary. We have so many great fights that we're going to break down on the Patreon. Fights that I'm even more excited about than this one. We're even going to break down Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury. Touch on that a little bit. Let you know how we saw that one go. So join the Patreon. Get in there.
Ian Gary versus Lukey CK. We're going to break that one down too.
You can join the Patreon. You can get a discount if you sign up for the full year. You can see all of our open bets on our open bets sheets. And you can also get the extra episode of the show. So if you like the show, you want more, please join. We give you a nice long episode today. Gonna have to cut a lot of this down because, like I said, might have a concussion, went snowboarding this weekend, took some spills. But the picks are solid. The picks are right. Let's go through what picks we have.
So your head is a French onion soup right now?
What?
Your head's a French onion soup?
It might be a French onion soup. It feels like a real crock. Every pick except the ladies' fight is going to be trophy certified.
Yeah, Jones, Shavkat, Jalin, Bo. And then Dan and I have Valentina Shevchenko, and Luke has Alexa Grasso.
Exactly. So trophy certified picks are Bo Nickal, Jalin Turner, Dan swayed us on that one, Shavkat Rakhmonov, and John Jones. I tease Shavkat by decision. And Bo Nickal by first round finish. John Jones, I think, by finish as well. And Alexa Grasso, that's just a little fun sprinkle. That's not anything I'm really too committed on. I just think Valentina's Day will come just like Nunes is, and you're going to want to be on the other side of that juicy dog odds. So we will break down the rest of the fights. Dricus Du Plessis, Amanda Hebas, Ian Gary. We got so many fights to break down. It's going to make your head spin. Trevin Jones, Cody Garbrandt. Get it into it with us.
Luke, before we get on to the Patreon, I have a question for you. Is this a Mount Rushmore of cutie fighters fighting in the same night?
Ooh, I don't know. I mean, we had some pretty good ones in the past. It's tough to say, but who are you really thinking about on this card? Who do you think?
Grasso, Ricci, Ribas, and Valentina. Valentina too.
Yeah, well, I'll throw in Araujo and Penne.
VV. Sorry.
VV and we'll just mention everybody just so that way, everybody just gets an honorable mention. But no, this is not in my. I mean, I guess you could say that it's in the Mount Rushmore, but
Ian Gary too.
Yeah.
I'm the only one not blocked by him, so I think I gotta show my support.
Well, it's tough to end on that note, but join us on the Patreon, guys. PvP certified picks will be uploaded there, and take care. Enjoy your week, guys, because we got a John Jones fight week ahead of us, and it's going to be very fun. Let's hope we make it there. Let's hope we get there.